that momentarily. Let's get today's show started on the app, on the website, and of course on Facebook. And
On Fire TV is a streaming network for a generation on the move.
Back, you made Diamond K in here, of course, the DiamondKShow.com, on fire-tv.com. And we got a surprise hearing today. We did not know we were going to get a hearing. We didn't know what to expect. I thought that the January 6th committee was on break till at least till July. That was not the case, though. Today, they had a witness. And the MAGA people are so mad. They're calling her all kind of names. They called her Amber Heard 2.0. People saying she on there snitching, all of that. And we're going to talk about why she did what she did, talking today to the committee, the House Select Committee that's investigating the January 6, 2021 Capitol insurrection. They reconvened today. Reconvened very quickly. It was hasty. Nobody really knew what was going on. Why? What do y'all have? So they scheduled this hearing, and it featured a blockbuster testimony from Trump White House aide named Cassidy Hutchinson. Cassidy Hutchinson. Hutchinson. So here she is right here. You can see her. You can see her right there. If you're watching on Fire TV.com or the DiamondKShow.com or Facebook or YouTube or Twitter, you can see. Sorry, Instagram, y'all can't see the photo. She cooperated pretty extensively. She's what you call it. They love a witness like this. She had detailed records. She had notes. She had text messages. She had a memory. She had a good memory there, right? And not kind of easy on the eyes. I'm sure it was probably tough for her in the Trump White House walking down. Can you imagine Trump passing her, walking down the hall to the bathroom or something? He probably was saying all kind of crazy stuff to her. Candy, happy Tuesday to you too, Taco Tuesday. So she cooperated extensively with this investigation. She sat for 4 closed-door depositions, and we got some footage from each one, a little bit of footage from each one. They showed you, hey, this is what she's talking about. This is what she's talking about. A lot of interesting things. You know how they say that somebody had the receipts? Cassidy had the receipts. She brought the goods for her in-person appearance today. She revealed how then President Donald Trump and his inner circle were warned about the potential for violence. They knew this in advance. They were warned. Shout out to Underrated Ty. Get me that new music, man. Give me that new music. DJDiamondK@gmail.com. Underrated Ty. What up, though? Jamal, what up, man? What's going on? Shouting out some folks on Instagram, y'all. All right, so okay, what's going on? Muhammad, what's going on? Big up, bro. So she revealed, this is Cassidy Hutchinson. She revealed how then President Donald Trump and his inner circle were warned about the potential violence. They knew this was coming. They knew this was coming. Definitely. I like the new songs, man. Definitely send me some stuff. Testimony has really altered this narrative. The committee has been driving towards this for the last couple of weeks. Trump incited and supported the insurrection. He wanted to be there. So we thought he was just talking smack. She said, no, he wanted to be there. Secret Service is the ones who stopped him from going. Oh, and Trump had all kind of temper tantrums in there. He had all kind of temper tantrums. But he was desperate, and many of his top advisors thought that his scheme was illegal, which it was. But he kept pushing forward. So when you talk about some of the takeaways from her testimony, and there were a lot. Oh, this testimony, this isn't the end This is the beginning. There's some folks that were mentioned today that they're going to have to come back and say some other things. They're going to have to figure it out. I think charges are coming for some people. Not going to be Trump, but they're going to be some other people. So you may be wondering, why did this lady come out and snitch? Why? Right? Definitely. Why? Why did she come out and snitch? Y'all may want to know that, right? Some people may have that question. And so she got on the stand. She got on the stand. Hutchinson. She talked about Trump and his chief of staff and how they were warned about this violence. They were warned that there were armed attendees at the rally. She really moved the ball forward. She really did, in terms of establishing that Trump was personally aware of the potential for violence. Did he care? Did he stop? No, he didn't. He wanted it. He encouraged it. He incited it. He participated in it. All of that. This is no liberal person. This is no Democrat. This lady right here worked in the Trump White House. She worked for Ted Cruz before that. Oh, she's a Republican through and through. All Republicans aren't crazy. She knew that what Trump was doing was wrong. So you may ask yourself, why is this lady coming out saying these things? Because as they're investigating it, her name's coming up and stuff. Her name's coming up in text messages. So they asking her, what you know about this? What you know about that? And if she continues to tote the MAGA line, she's going to be liable too. If you know this information and you're not revealing it, oh, you're going to be swept up in it too. So she said, man, I ain't going down for Trump. No. So she cooperated. She came in for 4 closed-door depositions. And the committee said, oh, we got to get this information out to the public. We got to get this out to the public now. We can't wait till after the 4th of July. We got to do this now. So they have this hearing today. Trump was personally aware of the potential for violence, yet he forged ahead on January the 6th with his attempts to rile up his supporters to interfere with the joint session of Congress that was going to certify President Joe Biden's victory. Now, is Trump in his feelings because he lost the election? Yeah. You know how you say, Romero, what was his name? Romero, the one that Tank knocked out. I'm sure he probably feel like Trump. He didn't think he was going to lose. Did anybody see the interviews of Rowley before the Tank fight? Oh, he was talking about how there's no way he could lose. He's going to beat him. He's bigger than him. Yada, 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 yada. Trump was talking the same kind of smack, right? Before the election, ain't no way I'm going to lose to Biden. Yap, 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 yap. But then election day came. Romero got in the ring, knocked out. Trump knocked out. He don't want to accept the loss, though, because he talks so much trash. Like, how you talk all this trash and then you lose to slow, sleepy Joe, who is slow and is sleepy. So if Trump loses to slow, sleepy Joe Biden, what does this say about Trump? Right? So he didn't want to accept that. He didn't want to accept that loss. He didn't want to accept that he got knocked out by Tank Biden. Right? He did not want to accept the fact that he got beat by Joe Biden. And Bree said, because Biden sold them lies. All politicians are selling lies. Don't get it twisted. Trump lied, Biden lied. You name the politician, they lied too. George Washington lied. All of them lying. All of them lying. So she got up on the stand today and she was telling, she had diarrhea of the mouth. She was telling, she was like, ooh, I seen this. He said that. He threw the plate. It was ketchup on the wall. He threw his lunch. Like she was saying everything. She was saying everything. Politicians are like, a guy or a girl in the beginning of a relationship saying how they're not going to cheat on you. They're gonna be better than your last boyfriend, girlfriend. That's what politicians are. And then they get in office, they do the same stuff that they told you they weren't going to do. That's how it is. When the campaign trail is like those first couple of dates. Yeah. So what's your favorite color? What's your favorite movie? Yeah. What's your sign? Yeah, all that kind of stuff. That's campaign talk. Then they get in office and they get brand new. These politicians, when they're on the campaign trail, they just telling you what you want to hear. I was at a candidate forum today, right? Now I've seen all the candidates that's running, pretty much, well, all the ones that's running for governor, right? I've seen them all before. But this particular candidate forum was geared towards seniors. So it was all these seniors in the crowd. They looking at me like, whose grandson is this here, right? All the seniors in there, right? And so all of the politicians, they geared everything that they were saying towards the seniors. Shout out to Doc Cheatham, someone put it together, right? So all the conversations was geared towards the seniors, right? Everything. Because they knew the crowd that they were speaking to, which was seniors. So everything they said was about seniors. Okay, we got to talk about this for seniors. Nothing was for folks that were younger. None of their conversation really was about that. One person, Doug Gansler, was talking about abortion a little bit, but other than that, it was all geared towards seniors because they knew the crowd that they were in front of. Politicians say, who am I talking to? And then they gear the conversation for you, right? Just like a guy or girl you just meeting. Oh, you had a bad relationship with this one. You had a bad relationship with that. Well, I ain't gonna be like that. Oh, he ain't give you this. I'm gonna do this. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff. That's what politics. So don't think that any of the politicians are being honest with you because they're not in office. They don't know what they can do. They don't know how hard it's going to be to actually enact what they're saying. They have ideas, but they need other people to go along with those ideas in order for the things that they're promising you to actually happen. These are recommendations. They give me some recommendations. Maybe I'm going to do this, but don't think that they definitely are going to do it. Right? Don't think they definitely going to do it. Oh my goodness. Dr. Kyle Berkeley, I need to holler at you. Definitely, I need to holler at you. I need to holler at you about your book. I need to holler at you. Yeah. So hit me up, please. djdiamondk@gmail.com, Dr. Kyle Berkeley. So, and Dr. Kyle Berkeley was talking about why. So I'm going to get back to the why again. She did not want to be held liable because they're investigating. She is an aide to the chief, or was an aide to the chief of staff. She was in a lot of these meetings. Her office was a stone's throw away from the president. She heard a lot of this stuff. So she's holding this information in. She herself is going to get swept up in it. Right? She don't want to get no conspiracy charge. All my folks in the hood know about conspiracy charges. You know some stuff that's going on, and you turn the other cheek and your name come up in the text messages. Your name comes up in the notes. Your name comes up in the investigation. You're going to get a conspiracy charge unless you cooperate. And she didn't want to take the charge, right? This young white girl, she ain't trying to take the charge. She ain't trying to be on Orange is the New Black, right? She was like, oh no, I'm telling. She's like, I'm telling. I don't blame her. I'm glad that she's telling because we want all the information. We want all the dirt because we don't want this happening again. Imagine, he won all his elections, like smashed them. But let's pretend that Barack Obama lost the election like Trump did. And let's say that the Nation of Islam ran up in the Capitol playing Minister Farrakhan tapes. Oh, they would be like, oh no, this never can happen again. We must, you know what I mean? It would be crazy. Oh, the investigations would be on 24 hours a day if the Nation of Islam had ran up on the Capitol, right? MAGA supporters ran up in the Capitol. They defecated in the Capitol. They took a dump in the Capitol, not figuratively, literally. It doesn't get more disrespectful than that. I think taking a dump somewhere is worse than spitting on somebody. I think that might be worse, right? You want somebody spit in your mouth or you want somebody crap in your mouth? I'll do spit for 500. You know what I'm saying? So these MAGA supporters, understand this. These MAGA supporters ran up, disrespected the Capitol because Donald Trump put a battery in their back because he lost to slow Joe Biden. Right? That's what happened. And this white girl said, no, I did not condone any of this stuff. Don't put me up in this. Trump did that stuff. I told him don't do it. I told him don't do it. And there are going to be others that are going to do the same thing. There are going to be other people that's going to come out and say, look, no, I'm not down with this Trump stuff. He did this stuff. They're going to start coming out the woodworks telling. They're going to start snitching. She said that Trump was told that morning that weapons were being confiscated from some of his supporters who came to the rally. This is that rally early up when he was putting the battery in their back. Later, when Trump and his team were at the Ellipse, the large oval lawn on the south side of the White House, and before his speech, Trump was barking out orders at staffers to take the mags away, referring to the metal detectors. He didn't want the metal detectors out there because he knew that they were strapped. He said that because these people in the crowd, they're not here to hurt me, right? They're not here to hurt me. It's Pence and Congress that they want to hurt. Nancy Pelosi. Trump also said that I don't care that they have weapons. According to Hutchinson, this is particularly shocking because Trump then encouraged that same crowd to march to the Capitol while the lawmakers were trying to affirm Biden's win. This is your man. He roused these people up that he knows are armed to go down to the Capitol. You trying to tell me that's not an insurrection? You trying to tell me that this is not some form of something that's against the law? Yeah. Hundreds of Trump's diehard supporters soon stormed the Capitol. They had knives, bear spray, metal poles, tasers, and there were some guns. Can you imagine if Black Lives Matter stormed the Capitol carrying knives and bear spray and metal poles and tasers and spears and guns? Where do you get a spear from? So the potential for violence was there. He knew that there was the potential for violence. One, he knew who he was talking to. Trump intended to go to the Capitol and pushed to do so up until the last minute. So many of us saw Trump talking about he was going to walk down to the Capitol with these folks. And of course, we know he did not go. Had he gone, let me say this, had he gone to the Capitol, they might have brought some charges up on him because those folks would have been so amped up. Those folks would have been so lit, and they was already lit. There would have been no way that they could have spun this. You know what I mean? There would have been no way. He's lucky that he didn't go down there because he might be in jail had he gone down there because this would have looked like a super coup. Like it was a coup attempt, but it really would have looked crazy if the president had been down there when this wild and crazy, unruly mob was running in the Capitol. And the folks around him knew it. They didn't want no parts of that. So the select committee effectively proved as much on Tuesday by featuring a mix of very damning witness testimony. Oh, the MAGA crowd is so mad at this lady. I hope they got security for her because you know, I mean, she done already said it now. So what they going to do to her now? She done already spilled the beans. So White House records that show Trump intended to join his supporters. It's not just that she's saying it. There are records that support this. He wanted to go to the Capitol. He was pushing to do so just minutes before the violence began to escalate. Oh, he would have been there eating it up. This would have been the closest thing to any type of battle that he went to. Because, you know, he was scared to go in the Army. He did sit ringside at some boxing matches, and he was at WrestleMania. He was like, hey, Bobby, let's go, Bobby. Bobby Lashley. But, you know, Trump, this would have been so damaging had Trump gone down there. Now, it was previously known that Trump wanted to go to the Capitol. But before the testimony today, before Hutchinson established for the first time that the people around Trump had advanced knowledge of his plan, oh, now we get into the good part. While they cannot get Donald Trump, they're going to get the people around him, though. Oh, yeah. Folks are nervous. These MAGA folks are nervous. But the ones who should be nervous, they may start flipping. These people may start flipping. The reality of Trump's intentions have become clearer and clearer. I mean, you know, it looks bad. It looks real bad. They got text messages. They got notes. Oh, man. And I'm sure that there's more than this. She told the committee today that Trump's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, this piece of crap, told her on January the 2nd, 4 days before the Capitol attack, that we're going to the Capitol. We're going to the Capitol on January the 6th, and that Trump himself was also planning to be there. Giuliani told her this days before. She also recounted a secondhand incident where Trump reached for the steering wheel, he probably can't even drive, reached for the steering wheel. Yes, this is a secondhand recount. So they're going to go for the firsthand folks and try to get them to testify. There are going to be some folks that they're trying to go back to that have told them things in depositions that were not true. They're going to try to see whether their memories have been, updated. If folks want to really talk now. Yep. Oh, yeah. She reports that Trump reached up towards the front of the vehicle to grab the steering wheel. Trump screamed, "I'm the effing president. Take me up to the Capitol now." Oh, yeah. Big baby. Right? Yep. Oh, this is getting good. Cipollone, one of the attorneys, warned people are going to die and the blood's going to be on your effing hands. Trump defended the rioters, chanting for the hanging of then Vice President Mike Pence, his number one flunky, because he wasn't doing something against the law that Trump wanted done. Hutchinson replayed a conversation she observed between the White House counsel, Pat Cipollone, and her boss, Mark Meadows, who's the chief of staff, after they discussed with Trump the chance to inflict violence on Pence. I'm remembering Pat saying something to the effect of, "Mark, we need to do something more. They're literally calling for the vice president to be effing hung, Hutchinson recalled. Meadows, chief of staff, replied, "You heard him, Pat. He thinks Mike deserves it. He doesn't think they're doing anything wrong." Cipollone responded, "This is effing crazy. We need to be doing something more." Oh yeah, this is your guy, right? This is your guy. You think that this idiot can help with inflation? No, he needs to be in jail if these things are true. The things that we know right now, you want to talk about Hillary should be locked up. There was a large concern in the White House of the 25th Amendment being invoked after the riot. Of course, they thought that this guy was insane. But here's my thing. This could have confirmed insanity, but you had to already think he was insane prior to this if you were working around him. If you were working around him, this may have been one of the craziest things that we've seen, but I'm sure there were a lot of other things behind the scenes that we don't know that were equally crazy. Equally crazy. Hutchinson also testified that Trump did not want to include references in the speech to prosecuting the pro-Trump rioters. This is about a speech that he gave on the next day, January the 7th, finally acknowledging that Biden would be inaugurated, in part because there was a large concern by the White House that Pence and the cabinet could invoke the 25th Amendment to remove him from power. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So Trump had no choice. He said the bare minimum the next day. Bare minimum. Large concern about that. He did not want that in there because he didn't want to prosecute those folks. He's the one that told them folks to do it. He's the one that called for the big event that was going to be wild and crazy at the Capitol. He's the one that said there's going to be an after party at the Capitol. BYOB. He did not think that they did anything wrong. And that's part of the problem. He looks at what we saw at the Capitol and he said, oh yeah, they were mad. He thinks that was cool. So imagine if you give this lunatic another shot, what is he going to do then? Trump's conduct on January the 6th was un-American and unpatriotic, according to Hutchinson. I tend to agree with her. It was an emotional, it was a powerful testimony. Trump's behavior was un-American, she said. The committee asked her to describe her real-time reaction from January 6th when Trump attacked Pence in a tweet around 2:30 that day, which was after his supporters invaded the Capitol, forcing Pence and the lawmakers and staffers to literally run for their lives. He started chanting, "Hang Mike Pence." It's a weird thing to say, right? She said that as an American, she was disgusted. She said it was unpatriotic, it was un-American. We're watching the Capitol building get defaced over a lie. Oh, and what was the lie? Trump lost the election. Okay, right? Trump lost the election. He got smashed by the person that he said couldn't smash him. But anytime you make these kind of claims, it happens. The Titanic. They said the Titanic was unsinkable. And what happened? First voyage sinks to the bottom of the ocean. Trump said he couldn't lose to Biden. What happens? Lost. Never say never, right? Is that a Brandy album? Never say never? Yeah. Her condemnation of Trump's behavior may shed some light on her motivations for coming forward. Why is she going to come out with this damning information about January 6th? Committee members heap praise on her and other Republicans who have testified, calling them patriots. She says that it was something that was really hard in the moment to digest. She was trying to process what was happening at our Capitol. She says that she still struggles to work through the emotions of that. Still struggles. It was a lot. It was a lot. I watched it on TV in the office. It was crazy to see. Crazy to see. Committee teased some evidence of witness tampering. This should be no surprise. These folks are lawless. The committee has secured testimony from some major witnesses, some very high up folks in Trump's inner circle, even his family members. Right? Liz Cheney suggested today during the hearing that there might be a Trump-imposed blockade of sorts, and that the panel has evidence of witness tampering. Somebody going to jail. I don't think it's going to be Trump. I think we're going to see more folks flip, and we're going to see some of these folks in Trump's inner circle get jammed up. She said that one witness whom the committee did not identify, not yet, testified that what they said to me is, as long as I continue to be a team player, they know that I'm on the team, I'm doing the right thing, I'm protecting who I need to protect. You know, I'll continue to stay in good graces in Trump world. Oh yeah, that's a threat right there. Another unidentified witness said they were told by someone in Trump's orbit that Trump was thinking about you and that he knows you're loyal and hopes that you're going to do the right thing when you go in for your deposition. I mean, this is like mafia stuff, right? Did we see this in a movie? Of course, Trump has denied all wrongdoing for January 6th. He's denied all wrongdoing ever for everything that he's done in his life. But I'm sure you can ask his ex-wives, he denied wrongdoing that led to the divorces too. He's a liar. That's what he does. Trump has also retaliated against people who provided damaging public testimony against him, including a top White House national security official, his ambassador to the European Union, both of whom described his pressure campaign against Ukraine during the House impeachment hearings back in 2019. Oh, yeah. Trump has repeatedly used private and public channels to pressure people who could testify against him. This happened to his former lawyer, Michael Cohen, his 26 campaign chairman, Paul Manafort, during the Russia investigation, and with the U.S. ambassador during the 2019 impeachment hearings. He's not above that. That's small potatoes. Small potatoes. This is going somewhere. This is they're pointing to something. Somebody's going down for this. I just don't think it's going to be Trump. I don't think it's going to be Trump, but I think that the American people need to have a very clear picture of what happened. Former President Trump dismissed January 6th threats. He wanted to join the crowd. He wanted to stage dive with the MAGA folks. Oh, yeah, he did. He did. It's your guy. Ain't it your guy? She's 25 years old. She was a special assistant and aide to former Trump chief of staff, Mark Meadows. Yep. 25-year-old young lady. She's like, I did not sign up for this stuff. She's like, I did not sign up for this. For the last 16 years, the Baltimore Crown Awards has been connecting, developing, honoring, and promoting the Baltimore scene. Get your green clothes ready, formal, semi-formal, or however you feel fly, because the 2022 Baltimore Crown Awards is an emerald party. The nomination process is happening right now. This is going to determine the actual nominees for the show. They need your input. Take a moment to visit the baltimorescene.org. Tell them who should be nominated at the 2022 ceremony. Many great categories, from visual artist of the year to retail to makeup artist to movement of the year. Let your voice be heard at the 16th annual Baltimore Crown Awards. Goes down Saturday, November 19th at the Garage, 6 Lafayette Avenue in Baltimore, 21202. Hosted by Desi Alexander. As I said, tickets, thebaltimorescene.org, or text 443-248-2596, the Baltimore Crown Awards. Of course, your man Dominic K in here, thedominicshow.com, onfire-tv.com. We are talking about this testimony today, which was, there was a lot of explosive things that this young lady revealed. Talked about this altercation in the armored vehicle, which is dubbed the Beast. It's the bulletproof vehicle that the president rides around in. Yeah, she had a lot of things to say. Very interesting things to say. I am anxious to hear folks' comments on this. Oh, and the MAGA crowd. Oh, they're so mad. They're so mad about this. But it is what it is. It is what it is. And more things are going to come out, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it all. I am here for it all.
On Fire TV is a streaming network for a generation on the move.
And we're back to Dominic K Show on fire-tv.com. So a Goucher poll shows slight leads in the Democratic and Republican governor race election day. 3 weeks in Maryland, 3 weeks from today. So who is going to be your choice, Maryland, in the primary elections? For many folks, this is a tough call. I've talked to folks who still don't know who they're voting for yet. I don't even know who I'm voting for yet. All right? But we're just 3 weeks away. And this Goucher poll of more than 500 Democrats gives Peter Franchot a slight edge over Westmore and Tom Perez. But those percentages are within the margin of error. It says that Peter Franchot is 16% to 14% for Westmore and Tom Perez. So Franchot had 16%. Westmore and Tom Perez both having 14%, with 35% still undecided. The poll also found that 63% of voters who picked a candidate say that they are willing to change their minds. It's still a up in the air race. Why is that? Nobody is really, nobody's really excited the Democrats in Maryland. For the last 7 years, we've had a Republican in the governor's mansion here in Maryland. So I think that also plays a fact in this. The poll found that 63% of the voters who picked a candidate said they're willing to change their mind, meaning they are not completely engaged to the candidate who they may vote for, right? 3 weeks is a long time, they're saying. I don't know. It's a soft yes. Soft yes. In the Republican race, Donald Trump endorsed Delegate Dan Cox. Right? Dan Cox in this poll is actually leading Governor Larry Hogan's endorsed former Commerce Secretary Kelly Schultz. by 3 points. Now, here's what's ironic. I was talking to TJ Smith on this very show a few weeks ago, and I told him dismissively, Kelly Schultz got this on the Republican side. She's going to be the nominee for the Republicans. And he said, I don't know about that. The Dan Cox, the Trump guy, could win. And I'm like, no, man, he's crazy. Like, he's too far to the right. And look at this. Based on this poll, TJ Smith, may have been on to something here. Now, it is within the margin of error. Just under half who picked a candidate, just like on the Democratic side, said that they're still willing to change their mind. Today, by the way, is the last day to register to vote or change your party affiliation before the July 19th primary. Now, just because the candidate is not in the top 3 of this Goucher poll, that doesn't mean anything. This race is not over yet. Not by a long shot. Early voting is going to open July the 7th through the 14th, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. So you have that coming up. Oh, it is getting ready to be very, very interesting. Primary election day, as I said, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., July 19th. Of course, this date is a change due to a court order. Man. So on the Republican side, candidates are for gubernatorial race, Dan Cox, Robin Ficker, Kelly Schultz, Joe Werner. The Democratic side is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 candidates on the Democratic side. And to me, that's part of the problem. It's too many candidates, and nobody is really sticking out. I've had a chance to listen to all of the candidates speak. I'm familiar with all of the candidates' platforms. We're going to be speaking with a few candidates in the coming shows. And, they have some great stuff. Even some of the Republicans have said some things, that didn't sound, crazy, right? I think that everybody in this field wants what's best for Maryland. Now, what concerns me is, does that mean all of Maryland? Because for Larry Hogan, it didn't mean Baltimore. You ask Larry Hogan, Baltimore wasn't even in Maryland, right? So, I don't know. We have choices to make. Of course, in the Baltimore City side, the state's attorney's race is something that many folks are talking about. I think that more folks know who they're going to vote for in Baltimore as far as the state's attorney's race than do for the governor's race. In that, the Democrats are Marilyn Mosby, Ivan Bates, through Vignarajah. And the independent is Roya Hanna. There is no Republican candidate for this position. Attorney General. So Democrats got Anthony Brown, familiar name. Katie Kern O'Malley, familiar name. And you have some Republicans who are not as well known, but they're in this too. Comptroller, something that you hear people talk about. That's the tax person. Richard, what up, though? It's a tax guy or gal, right? So I don't know where any of those races are going, but word on the street, different ones, different things. Here's the problem, though. We need more folks to do their homework. Many folks in Maryland just vote for the name that they know, the popular name. Now, in some instances, here's how we got Larry Hogan. There were too many Democrats in the race. The vote got split, and the Republican slid on in and slid through. Right? He was a moderate. He says he didn't sound completely to the right, sounded, kind of right of center. People, I can deal with that. Right? He wasn't talking crazy. But what has his policies been? Depending on where you live in Maryland, you may like him or not. But the folks in Baltimore that claim that they love him so much, I'd like to know, why do you love him so much and what exactly has he done? TJ Smith was on the show, and he's going to be here election night for the On Fire TV coverage of the primary election in Maryland. So we're going to be able to talk about some things, but I'm going to have him on the show before election night. Anyway, what has Larry Hogan done for Baltimore, or for the state for that matter, that makes people love him so much? I just think that you're so used to Republicans being so far to the right that he's been scandal free, doesn't say crazy stuff. And so they just, because you can't, anybody I talk to claims that they like him, can't tell me one reason why they like him. I don't know. I wanted to ask his wife why she likes him, but security kept me away from him. Kept me away from them. You made Diamond K in here, of course, at DiamondKShow.com, onfire-tv.com. One more story I want to get to, and it's another Baltimore story. Take a quick break, and we'll be back right after this.
On Fire TV is a streaming network for a generation on the move.
Welcome back. Your man Diamond K in here. The Flywire and TFP Entertainment present the Flywire's 15th annual White Tie Affair. Baltimore's biggest and most celebrated event returns Sunday, July 24th, 5 to 10 p.m. at Hammer Jack's outdoor venue, 1300 Russell Street, downtown Baltimore, 21230. Check this out. After a 2-year wait, the party of the year returns with another exceptional, fun, and elegant red carpet cocktail reception. The White Party is back. I love the White Party. Music by DJ Kibi, DJ Tons, Super DJ Big L. Tickets on sale right now. Hammerjacks.com. Ladies, it is it's an outdoor event. The courtyard is gravel, so they don't want you coming through with those heels on. Sneakers, sandals, wedges, and flats. That's how you need to come, ladies. Hammerjacks.com for your tickets. Shout out to Marcy and Phil and the whole squad over there. So we've been talking about the testimony today, the January 6th committee, and a former White House employee that's spilling the beans. And I think that this is just the first in many that are going to do that. So also in Baltimore, Commissioner Michael Harrison, right? So I don't know if your folks that are outside of the city may not know who he is. This is Commissioner Michael Harrison. He is the Baltimore Police Commissioner. And what's so ironic is the police in the city of Baltimore act as if Marilyn Mosby has more to do with crime than they do. Who is Marilyn Mosby? She's just the attorney. She's just the state's attorney. But they put more on her. Right? They put more on her. She's like, she affects the crime. They're the ones that lock folks up. She's just the one, or her office prosecutes the folks that they lock up. Now, the commissioner claims that he was blindsided by a major policy decision from the Baltimore City State's attorney office, right? And it's so ironic that he says that, right? First of all, a partnership exists, but the jobs operate independently of one another. Right? So somebody commits a crime. And the way that a lot of police try to talk about this is that, I mean, I'm not going to lock him up if the state's attorney's not going to prosecute him. No, it shouldn't even factor into your mind. That's just like when someone commits a crime, a lot of times they're not saying, oh, well, if I do this, I'm going to get this amount of time. They're usually just acting off emotion. But my point is that Commissioner Harrison claims that, I mean, he should have been notified about something. The state's attorney is supposed to call him up and talk about a change in prosecution strategy. No, the same way he's not going to call her and talk about some change in policing. Now, while the offices have some conjunction during the time of, I guess when they're in court, when they're on the street, they ain't calling Marilyn Mosby, let me call the attorney's office. No, they're not doing that. So for him to sit up in some Washington Post forum, Commissioner Harrison, and say that he doesn't have an issue with Mosby's decision, then why are you saying anything? Says he doesn't have an issue with Mosby's decision to not prosecute low-level crime, non-violent crimes. So why are you bringing it up? But he says he wonders why he was not told about it ahead of time. Now, he goes on later to say that most of those who committed these low-level offenses don't necessarily commit violent crimes later, right? But it's before the election. So he's trying to put his finger on the scale. I'm sure that most of Baltimore's voters do not take their cues from the out-of-towner, Michael Harrison. But regardless, he throws it out there. Michael Harrison, the police commissioner, throws it out there. Like Marilyn Mosby should have told him about her decision to not prosecute low-level violent crimes. Here's why the police chief says this. Because many police officers want to lock somebody up and hope that they go to jail and stay in jail. And if they find out that some attorney is not going to throw the book at everybody they lock up, then they ain't their feelings. They feeling like, oh my God, I ain't gonna do my job because I want this guy who's I'm locking up for some stupid crime to go to jail for a long time. And if I don't feel like Mosby and her attorneys are not gonna lock him up for a long time, keep him in jail, then I ain't gonna do nothing. I'm gonna sit in my car and text on my phone. That doesn't make any sense. So when they try to sit here and blame the attorney's office for them not doing their jobs, I call BS. I call BS on it. It's always an issue. It's always a reason. Before Mosby got there, they were saying, oh, our cars aren't fast enough. We need faster cars. The criminals have fast cars. The criminals on dirt bikes. We can't catch them. We need faster cars. It's always an excuse. When they screw up, oh, it was training. We weren't trained well enough. The VCR and the DVDs, they was outdated and we need more training. It's always an excuse why the police are not doing their jobs, right? That was their job. They got a simple job, right? Right? They shouldn't even be thinking about the prosecution of somebody. They should just be cleaning up the streets. The attorney's office are the ones who are thinking about the prosecution of the offender, the suspect. The police officers, if everybody stayed in their lane, if police officers stayed in their lane instead of trying to jump in the attorney's office lane, then things will be a little bit better. But we got police officers trying to tell attorneys how to do their job. And then we also got police officers trying to tell the folks in City Hall how to do their job, right? If the police focus on their job and stop making excuses, things would be a little bit better. Let's look at this like the Baltimore Ravens, right? Let's say that Baltimore City is the Baltimore Ravens, right? And the police department is the offense. And the state's attorney's office is the defense. and the mayor is the quarterback. What we have is the offense talking about what the defense ain't doing all this yapping. But yet their receivers getting smoked all the damn time. And they're blaming the fact that their receivers getting smoked on something that the defense did. No, that doesn't make sense. Everybody stay in their lane. The mayor's office and city hall stay in their lane. And sometimes these lanes intersect. But everybody needs to do their own job. Police focus on their own job. State's attorney focus on their job, and so on and so on. Right? Now, in response to Commissioner Harrison's comments about the prosecution of misdemeanor crimes, the Baltimore City State's Attorney's Office released a statement that reads in part, "Our decision to decline to prosecute minor offenses, such as marijuana possessions, came about with the collaboration of public health experts and has led to a significant reduction in arrests." Oh, they don't like that. The police does not like a reduction in arrests. They want to arrest more people. But anyway, they said that it has led to a reduction in arrest. Here's why it led to a reduction in arrest. Because less of them are wanting to arrest people because they think that nothing's going to come of it. It's just an excuse to not do their job. We need more accountability. We need more folks doing their job. Real simple. But she finished it off really nicely. So we appreciate the commissioner's continuous support for these policies. That was that smart. She was getting smart, but with a smile. It's election season. She can't say how she really feels. But after she gets reelected, she's going to talk crazy. If she gets reelected, she's going to talk crazy. She's going to talk crazy. She's going to talk crazy. Right now, she is biting her tongue. Her tongue probably bleeding. She want to say stuff so bad. Giselle, is that how you say her name? Maxwell? 20 years in prison. The Epstein chick. Ghislaine? What kind of name is that? Anyway, she was sentenced today, 20 years in prison for helping the wealthy, late Jeffrey Epstein sexually abuse underage girls. The sentence was stiff. They had her on suicide watch. Over the past 17 years, scores of women have accused Epstein of abusing them. Many describe Maxwell as acting as the madam who recruited them to give massages to Epstein. Through the trial, though, it really revolved around allegations from only a handful of women. But she went down. They said that Maxwell made all the arrangements. The allegations against Epstein first surfaced publicly back in 2005. He pleaded guilty to sex charges in Florida, served 13 months in jail, much of it on work release programs as part of a deal that was criticized as very lenient. Very lenient. They don't talk about that attorney, though. So it went on. He got more charges. There was a New York case. He was arrested in 2019, allegedly killed himself a month later. 11 months after his death, Maxwell was arrested at a New Hampshire estate. She's a U.S., British, and French citizen. She has remained in federal jail in New York since then. Her lawyers have criticized her treatment, said that she was unjustly placed under suicide watch. It was an unjust thing. Why? How dare they do this? Before her fate was announced, Maxwell looked down and scribbled something on a piece of paper. One of the accusers, whose allegations weren't included in this trial, spoke of the lasting harm to her life, looking directly at Maxwell several times. So, unfortunately, this lady, Sarah Ransom, who's tried twice to die by suicide, finally drew a look from Maxwell when she said, "You broke me in unfathomable ways, but you did not break my spirit," she said. 20 years they gave her. Yep, she did say, I mean, she's grimy. She's definitely grimy. Capitol Gazette victims remembered on the 4th anniversary of the shooting. I know many of you remember that terrible shooting in Annapolis. They just remembered the 5 journalists and the employees who were killed in the newsroom. It was a crazy thing. Yep, they did a wreath laying and all of that at City Hall in Annapolis. 4 years. I mean, it just went by. And Capitol Gazette shooting. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok at The Diamond K Show. Of course, onfire-tv.com. Here on the show, we deliver the biggest political and trending news stories of the day with interviews and original reporting from across the country. Show is fun. Show is upbeat. But I also got to expose what is really happening in this country. A lot of things going on. Program weekdays, 6 p.m. You can check us out on demand anywhere you get podcasts. Just search The Diamond K Show. Shout out to the folks at WRF Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, YouTube.com/DJ Diamond K. And we are an advertiser-supported audio and video network. You can get breaking news, podcasts, TV shows covering topics that are important to our culture. Definitely head on over to onfire-tv.com, thediamondkshow.com. Check out our interactive streaming channel. We definitely got to talk about it. I mean, there's so much. I'm unpacking breaking news and many issues, and I'm going to say things how I feel. Sometimes I ruffle some feathers up, right? Sometimes sometimes some folks get upset with me. Hey, but it is what it is. And I like to hear, from folks. I definitely, djdiamondk@gmail.com is how you get in touch with me. So the world has become even more digital. As time goes on, even more digital, right? Folks are using their phones, their computers, their tablets. This is how they get their information. And here at On Fire TV, our target listener is 23 to 54 years old. So business owners, you want to get in front of your customers. That is what we do. You can advertise your business, product, service, or event on the Diamond K Show or any of the On Fire TV programs. We have several packages that will, fit your needs. Holla at me, djdiamondk@gmail.com. I will be in the mix this weekend, 12 noon right here. And like I said, youtube.com/djdiamondk, artist, record company, A&Rs, artist, whoever, signed, unsigned, djdiamondk@gmail.com. Send me that music so we can get that spinning and all of that stuff. I will holler at you guys tomorrow. Oh, we do have a special edition of the No Filter podcast tonight, 9 p.m. Looking forward to that. And Big Bree, I'm sure she's got some crazy stuff to talk about. And we'll be back here at 9 p.m. Other than that, Diamond K Show tomorrow, 6 p.m. right here. See you guys.
On Fire TV is a streaming network for a generation on the move.